I'm 17 and I love books. Now I know what you're saying, Erin, I also love books. And that is so cute. And I love that for you. But when I say I love books, I mean I love books. My love is pure and beautiful, and it will last forever. My little 1998 heart is full of joy for books. My love is like the love of Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears. It'll go on forever. So my whole life, I've been obsessed with books. I won the best reader at my local library. Yes, you're meeting me in person. Big deal. There was another person that was competing, and I just stomped her. Anyways, I read books at, I was reading Lord of the Rings in, the 6th grade. But the thing is, not everyone else loves books like me. When other people are at lunch and they're going out and smoking, I sneak into the library and I point at a shelf like Babe Ruth, and whatever I point at, I read that book. And nobody finds it as impressive as I do. In fact, sometimes when someone is partnered with me for a project, they come into the library and the librarian doesn't say, Erin's not here. He says, Erin's not here yet. Apparently that's weird. Anyways, I have this secret. I want to be a writer. I want to have that magic that all the writers I read have, the power to connect people. Last summer, I was at summer camp and I took out a Stephen King book and someone made friends with me on the spot. And she was really cool. She wore overalls and only wore one strap. I know. In school, it's not working quite that well, but I know that magic is possible, I think. But the thing is, I'm in Ontario and I'm a girl, and in my experience, writers are men. And from America, women writers tend to be penniless and have dark lives. I'm not really into that. I'm really into being comfortable. Like I said, I spend time in the library, which is air-conditioned. But this year, we're gonna have the best class possible, English Canadian literature. It's gonna show me how to do it. It's gonna make my dark, deep secret come true. I'll have a roadmap. And the first day, my teacher comes in, Miss Martin, and she says, we're gonna read a lot of great literature. And I picture in a movie that in a couple weeks, all of us are gonna be on our desk going, oh, Captain, my Captain. Instead, we just read English Canadian literature. In case you have never taken a class in English Canadian literature, and if so, I applaud you, that class could be described as boring and sad. It's just, yes, it is just annoying, sad white man after annoying, sad white man. And then we sit around and talk about it. And also, everyone else in my class is cool and interesting. Last year we read Tennessee Williams, and I realized that while everyone in the class really connected with the sad and tragic and kind of brittle female characters, I identified with them in a way that I'm not entirely comfortable with. So they're all saying these amazing, they get up it's like a one-person show, and they'll just do a monologue about their life and their opinions. And I just sit in the back and try to be completely silent and invisible because I do not know when I am supposed to clap. Because I'm pretty sure when someone does a monologue about their amazing emotions, you're supposed to clap. By the way, I did once, don't do that. Anyways, my teacher is a feminist, so she says, I bet you've noticed that it's a lot of men that we're doing books by. And I was like, yeah, that's right. And she looks like right in my eyes because she can see that we're getting it. And she says, don't worry, there's a book coming, a very important Canadian book by a very important Canadian female author. And I am so excited. Like my whole body like expands and I'm 1,000,000 feet tall because this is gonna teach me how to do it. And then we get the book. The book is called The Stone Angel. And what it is, oh yes, I know, you're ahead of me. The Stone Angel is a book about a very mean old lady who spends hundreds of pages talking about what a mean old lady she is and how she's been mean for decades. And at the end, she goes, well, I guess I shouldn't have been mean. Sorry to my son. And like they cry and maybe she dies. And that's the whole fucking thing. And I almost don't read the book. I almost don't finish it. I've never not finished a book. I have read like the Anne Rice vampire books, every single one of them, including when he becomes a rock star and then turns into a human, which is like the movie Big, but with vampires. And I finished those books. And I hate her more and more, and I'm filled with rage, and I'm bubbling, and I'm furious. And everyone in the class hates her. We just spend all this time being like, she's annoying and awful and insipid. Yeah, someone says insipid. We're all agreeing Margaret Lawrence is a monster. She's like every wrestling heel ever, but we have to listen to her be boring. I love hating her. It's wonderful. But I love writers, so I can't. I'm filled with like all this shame because she's a writer and she's a woman and I should be supportive. And my teacher goes, because she's a feminist, I know, this is a complicated book, but we're gonna see a play of it and then you'll understand. And we get there and we sit down and like the play, right? You know, like a play, but unlike in school where everyone's doing like one-person monologues all the time, in a play, you just watch the play. So I am going to crush it at this. This is my champion moment. So I wait for 5 minutes, and then 10, and then 15, and then 20 minutes later, a very nervous woman walks to the front of the stage, and she's clutching this script, and she says, hi, you're about to have a slightly different experience than expected. And she like moves her glasses nervously and she says, well, the person who plays Hagar, the main character in The Stone Angel, is sick today, as is her understudy. I am the stage manager and I will be playing the role. And I watch the most anxious, nervous, uncomfortable woman try to keep up with a great piece of Canadian English literature. And she is unhappy and she drops the script a couple of times. Have you ever had that nightmare where you're presenting in front of like a class of people, but you don't know what you're presenting? Imagine it's that, but it's real. And the audience is full of teenagers. Teenagers who hate what you're performing. I think the play was an hour. Now, I'm not an expert in the theory of relativity, but I'm going to say this proves it because I'm pretty sure while the play was technically an hour, it was like 25 million years. Part of me is still there. And I look at this woman and she's just trying her hardest and she seems like someone's like really nice aunt who listens to you and like is wearing like 3 sweaters. And that is the moment where I realize as much as I love writing and I have been trying, like I write little things all the time, I can't be responsible for something like this. This poor woman, she's like a ghost, like, boo, don't do this to people. And so at that moment, I decide that my dream doesn't make any sense. I'm not gonna create something beautiful. I'm gonna make someone's poor aunt almost pee her pants in front of people. So for years, I give everything up. I don't write. Well, I'm not being entirely truthful. I can't help it. When no one's looking, I write little things on scraps of paper, and I have terrible poems, truly terrible poems. I write and I write and I write, and then one day someone encourages me, a friend, and I start writing sketch comedy, and I start writing all kinds of stuff. I start doing this. My life is completely different. But I still have the voice of like this Shakespearean ghost of this poor woman, like, don't do this to other people. Until recently, because I realized I've been in these rooms and I've seen the magic of these rooms when someone shares a story and people feel seen. I've gone up to people, I've had people go up to me, and I've seen how it unites a group. I've also done stand-up nights where I have hated someone on the stage so much, and everybody in the audience turns to each other like, that fucking guy, right? And I realized no matter what, art unites. So my friends, whether you enjoyed my story, whether you hated my story, come together. Love or hate me together. Join. That's all we need. Be united in your hatred of me. Boo! Thank you.